Who here is sick of taking orchestra auditions? Who here is tired of trying to find a stable job? Have you wondered what it might be like to play in a military music ensemble and are curious whether this might be the job for you? Well, you're in luck because we're going to talk about it today, so stick around and find out. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Jermarco 박사입니다. Hi, everybody. This is Helena from DrGMusicIndustry. Today, we're going to talk about music military jobs. I hope to earn your subscription today. Here's a little background about me. I play the French horn in a military music ensemble, and I've been playing the horn for over 30 years now. I have a doctorate in French horn performance. I've auditioned and won jobs for 2 different military bands. I've played for 2 different services. I've played in ensembles in the United States and abroad. So let's get down to business. Today we're going to discuss why you would want a military job, why you would want a military music job, and what the job is like. It's stable. You don't have to worry about the orchestra going under or losing their endowment and being out in the street. I just got sick of the rat race that is a military music audition machine. Just going from one city to the next city, playing one audition after the other, spending money on plane tickets, preparing yourself mentally and physically for these things. It was giving me gray hairs a lot earlier than I would have started to naturally get them. And I just thought that I wanted something easy, wanted an easier life that I could support my family with. And so I decided to look into military music ensembles. Housing is a separate payment that you get in the military. And this is super helpful. It'll change depending on what city you live. If you live in a base area near a very expensive city, your allowance will go up. But if you live in a rural and expensive area, your allowance will go down. So that really helps with making ends meet and feeling comfortable with your life and your situation and your job. Let's face it, college is expensive and not everybody can afford to go. But if you were in the United States military, you can opt to get something called the Montgomery GI Bill, which ends up paying for college once you retire or get out or leave the service. There's a minimum requirement for service to get this, but it is totally worth it. I ended up getting my doctorate degree through the Montgomery GI Bill. It was amazing. They pay for books, they pay for living expenses, and they pay for college tuition. Another thing that people don't know about, and some services offer a loan repayment program. You need to ask around to see which services offer this, but that's another great thing. I also use this as well. After my master's degree, I had thousands of dollars of debt and loans. And as many of you may know, music doesn't necessarily pay back college like, say, law or medicine. So getting the loan repayment program through the military was fantastic. They paid 33% of my loans off every year that I served. Now, you do need to check with the recruiter, check online, make sure you get everything in writing because not all services offer this and it's not offered all the time, but that's another great option if it is available. If you like the information that you're getting and you want to see more, please let me know in the comments below. Any topics that might interest you, I'd love to talk about. You get to use very good top of the line gear. For me, I love playing a certain French horn and I have always been willing to pay top dollar for this special instrument. And I was surprised when I joined the military and they got me the same instrument that I was used to playing. It wasn't the bottom of the barrel, cheapo, factory made instrument. It was a wonderful crafted instrument that I felt comfortable using. Gear is always going to be something that you never have to worry about paying for again. This is a huge pro. This is a huge plus. I mean, how many of you have saved for years to buy the instrument of your dreams that you've always wanted? And I bet many of you don't even have that instrument yet. Well, Well, many times the military will just get that instrument for you. It's fantastic. Training. Is training a pro? I think doing training is great because in the military, you get opportunities to train for things that you might have an interest in. You might ask yourself, well, you have a doctorate in music. Why would you want to do extra training? Well, I have interests that are, in other things besides music. I love languages. And the military has offered me opportunities to learn languages from scratch. 조금 한국어를 해요. Und ich spreche auch ein bisschen Deutsch. Und ich habe die Sprache so gerne. And I think these are just great opportunities that you would not necessarily get in many other jobs. Maybe someday when I retire, I'll want to do something a little bit different or not. And there's no better time to train for a secondary career or a future career than when you already have a comfortable, stable job. Although many people would consider it a con, having to do extra work, you have more opportunities available to you in the future. As far as education is concerned, it is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, and there's so many opportunities in the military to do that. Another reason a lot of people join the military is to help gain citizenship faster, or sometimes even get it all together. I've known people who have won the lottery for green cards in their country and then jumped right into the military, and it helped them expedite their citizenship process. Again, this varies on jobs, so definitely check before you jump into this process. If you're interested in me doing a video on this in the future, please let me know in the comments. I think the biggest pro of having this job, I can speak on a personal level, is just the huge weight that you feel lifted off your shoulders after you win it, knowing that you have a secure and stable job and paycheck. And if you're doing music, as I am, or one of the other many jobs that are offered in the military, photography, medicine, you're going to be doing something that you love and that you want to do. And you can't really put a price on peace of mind or stability. And for me, I have a family, and that's everything. Again, I like knowing that my paycheck's going to come every 2 weeks, no matter how well the arts are funded. And I don't know how to say this, except I'm just gonna say it. This is an easy job. It is so easy. You basically have to do something so wrong to get fired. Seriously. I know that if I do my job and I practice and I stay fit, I'm gonna be really secure. And if I keep my nose clean and, don't do anything I shouldn't do, which is really easy, like you would do in any job. And I'm comparing it to working in the civilian sector. You are not given second chances, third chances in the civilian sector in corporate America. That is the main reason. That is the biggest pro for me. I never have to take any more auditions. I don't have to worry about money. I feel secure in my job, sitting principal horn and having to come in on Shostakovich 5 and playing that. So, honestly, I can name a number of gray hair solos. One of the fives, Mahler 5. One of the scary things, I'm saying they're scary, but when your job's on the line and you're worried about getting tenure and all this garbage, yes, they're scary. So they're scary excerpts. They're scary. Hey, maybe that's just me. I show up to work on time, keep my nose clean. I do my minimum fitness requirements so that I pass. I've never failed one. If I can do it, if I can pass all these fitness requirements, anyone can. Believe me, anyone can do it if I can. My perspective, Dr. Gianmarco's perspective, is it's an easy job. This is an easy job compared to any other music job. I'm not fighting for tenure in a university. I'm not fighting for tenure in an orchestra. I've got my job and I can keep it for 20 years if I want. Where does that exist in music? And I feel like I'm healthy. I don't have an abnormal amount of gray hair and stress from sitting in the hot seat. Yeah. If you want to hear more about my personal story and perspective on military jobs, Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. The military job is not for everybody, but there is so much that it has to offer, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of how many great perks there are, which is why I am bringing this to you, so you have all the facts before you make a big decision. That will be all for today. Thanks for stopping by and checking us out. Once again, I'm Helena for Dr. G Music Industries. If you have any ideas for future videos, please let me know. And see you next time.